Franchise Report. Reporting live.
Yes, sir. Franchise and building, franchise report in effect as it goes on another mother effing day. Lovely Leticia in the building. And back again to hang out. Shut it down with us. The one, the only, the homie Tapia's in the building. What's poppin', family?
Tau, Taiwei, Tareku, Taimautia, Usa, Sivacabo. Good Tuesday in the language of my ancestors, the Arawak peoples of the Caribbean. You know what I'm saying? Tapia, tapianow.com. You know what it is. Thank
So,
you.
what you been up to, family?
And I've been ready, chasing it, promoting my book. So I'm a multi-time author, so I have multiple books, but I just released a new book called Signs, Symbols, Motifs, and Totems, which goes into indigenous American cultural resiliency, indigenous American art, spiritual systems, cosmic identity, and it also goes into Sumak Kause, which is better living, indigenous American socio-political philosophy and ideology. And so like we just trying to teach the people how to reconnect through our ancient ways, you know, through our culture, and authentically represent who we are. Because, you know, part of what I do is elaborate on identity. You know, when we say the word black, what does that mean? It doesn't really mean anything. Just like when you say the word white, that doesn't mean anything. That really isn't a lineage, heritage, or identity. So when we talk about who we are, we go way beyond the labels of just colors, and we go into the language and the names of our ancestors. And you know, my people are from Puerto Rico, but what people contemporarily call Boriquen. You know what I'm saying? And so we do that in our language of our ancestors, honoring our ancestors. And so we've been rocking this with all these new books. We're also promoting new concepts. You know, I don't know if the people are too familiar, but y'all need to get familiar with cryptocurrencies, meme coins, the opportunity to invest in ideas and pieces of art. Huh?
You understand it?
Yeah, like NFTs. See, so the way that I look at it is like a derivative. I commoditize and monetize the work that I do. So when I create digital art, I'm looking to create a moment where I can drop and I can coincide that with a crypto that will allow me to store value in mine and also increase value as I ask for higher prices with different cryptos. So the thing to understand about it is that when you invest in the blockchain, right, you're investing in a long list of transactions that is ratified by every person that owns the asset. So every person that owns any one of these platforms that's on blockchain has a ratified list of all transactions. So you can never lose value. You understand what I'm saying? Because everybody has the record.
Sounds good, but
it's like if I sell you this book, right? Every time you get a book, this comes with a file that shows everyone else that owns this book.
I know how that works.
You know what I'm saying?
That part I know how it works.
Everyone else owns this book, and we all invested in a fund based on us being owners of this book. And we can borrow from it based on the transactions that we have listed that we're the exclusive owners of this. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like licensing a way to store value. It's hard to understand for some people, but what I'll say is this. My people in Atlanta, Innovent, y'all check them out. You know what I mean? Look for Innovent. They're creating coins, meme coins, creating concepts, and they're working on something called the Buddy.
Is that not the same thing as the NFT?
Well, they're similar because they're backed up by crypto. Okay. And crypto is a list of transactions, user held and owned transactions. So like, you know, when you buy a stock, you're an owner in that company. Your percentage increases or decreases based on what you own. But it's the same kind of concept when it's a store for value for assets. We own a certain coin. You're part of that collective of people that have invested and backed it up with their money, and it holds that value and it doesn't lose value unless there's situations you can't even really see at this point, because there's no way that it's going to lose value at this point. When the coins have already reached their initial valuation, they've reached $1 or $5 or going past that, like Bitcoin, where you're talking about 60,000 for one unit. Nobody's going to lose their money in that. You understand what I'm saying? So that it goes from blank all the way to the top. It's just a different way of looking at value, looking at money and how to store money. You know what I'm saying? Because we can't really trust the banks. We can't trust anything. You see,
can't trust shit.
You know, one day over there in San Francisco, I believe it was, a whole bunch of the banks went belly up in one time, and that leads to everybody else, because all of those events affect the rates, the prime rates, debt. Like so much of our country. Look at this inflation; it's insane. You know what I mean? But anyway, yeah.
So all these drawings in here, these are your
Yeah, those are all my
You hand drew
paintings.
these.
Those are all my paintings.
Hand
The book that
drew-
you're
yeah.
yes, the book that you're holding is called Ab Origin 2020.
You
This
gotta,
is
you
from
gotta,
my-
you gotta take the lock off or tuck it under your shirt. If
Yeah.
I hear it hit the table one more time,
Dig, 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 dig.
there you go.
Yeah, so
I'm like, who's knocking?
right here-
And Answers watch slow down.
this right here is a book called Ab Origin 2020. It goes into indigenous Taino cosmogony, and using popular culture memes to interpret our culture, to talk about our origins and who we really are, not as Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Jamaicans, or Haitians, but as indigenous Arawak descendants from Taino and Caribe, Kalinago, Garifuna, from many of our people. Not just the labels that we have in society, but actually honoring the ancestors. So I go into that. I show some of symbols that people might know from popular Latin culture, and I interpret dance and some cultural symbols through using urban culture like graffiti. You know what I mean? Urban styles of art.
Can I ask
to
you a
talk about
question?
drugs and all the different things that we have going on.
So, did you grow up big on this, or as you got older, you got more into the culture?
Well, I grew up big on it in the way that I knew at the time. Like I knew that we were Taino people, right?